It's the Sports Take Lunch Break, brought to you by Office Essentials, your hometown supplier of all the office products and furniture you need to grow your business. So we're going to go into our food for thought. So everyone, something you've been thinking about all week that you just haven't been able to let go. So we're just going to go around the table really quickly. Greg, I'm going to jump to you first. Do you have any food for thought you want to get into?
Yeah, I have one. Just kind of a cool thing that happened a couple of nights ago, I think. It's really kind of not very earth-shattering in its importance, but I don't know if you saw the Kachuk face-off to start the game in the NHL the other night.
That was pretty cool.
It was Calgary and I'm blanking out. Senators. And opening face-off, the two Kachuk brothers were on the wing, and the parents were there. The whole family was up in the stands, and the ref on the opening face-off kicked out the Senators and brought in the Kachucks to take the opening face-off, and it was just kind of a cool moment for the Kachucks. I thought the classy move by the ref, and just thought it was pretty cool.
I like it.
Wes McCauley, one of the one of everyone's favorite officials.
I think the Athletic, speaking of which, they just came out with their player poll, which is kind of something people look forward to. And I think he was named favorite ref by the players.
I wonder where Kachuk ranked on least favorite players by the players.
Yeah, he's taken some abuse lately, but this was a nice moment for the Kachuk family.
Okay. Well, Stuart, I'm going to go to you next. Do you have any food for thought that you've been thinking about the last week or so?
Well, I've been thinking about that Arenado trade possibility. I think things have changed a little bit again. Today he went out and, or was it yesterday, he was talking about how displeased and disrespected he feels by the Colorado organization. It's just baseball's kind of finding its way through this whole new player out clause that more and more contracts are getting. I know NBA's had it for a while. But Arenado has a opt-out in 2 seasons, and baseball's always been really big on asset management. And how do you deal with a player who's the highest paid player on your team, who's a superstar, but has an opt-out in 2 years, so they're basically a free agent in 2 years, so that lowers their value. And I think you're seeing Colorado ask for a much higher value than teams are willing to pay for that. So that, to me, is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, and I think that'll have kind of long-term implications for how teams deal with players in this new contract kind of feature or bug, depending on how you look at it.
If I put you on the spot, Stuart, and you had 10 seconds to answer, do you think Arenado ends up in a Cardinals uniform started next year?
No.
Okay.
Really? Right. I don't know. I think he's angling to get out of Colorado. I don't know where he'll end up.
Yeah, I don't think he ends up here.
I think
Washington, maybe.
Yeah, I think he, real quick, I know, that comment was because, 2 years ago it looked like Colorado was going to have a team. Last year they were 20 games under 500. They've done nothing this offseason to improve themselves. And
he seems very unhappy with the situation.
Yeah, I don't know that he's truly feels disrespected, but I'm sure he's not happy and he wants out. So
you see him?
I think this is trying to force Colorado's hand to trade him.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But
okay, Dan, I'm going to go around to you. Your food for thought?
My only food for thought was trying to restructure this whole NHL. How these teams are picked and all this kind of stuff. I think you should just collectively get I don't know how many guys. What do we got? 11 per team. So you just collectively get the 44 guys, and on Friday night before I think that's when they should pick these teams, and I truly think that the captain picks first, and from there on captain picks. Let's say it's Petro. Petro makes a pick, and then from then on, whoever's picked picks the next pick for the team. It's already gimmicky enough, not gimmicky enough, but we need to make it gimmicky. Otherwise, it's just going to go on the wayside, as all the rest of these All-Star games are, which are just boring nothingness. I would have to say that the only one I do find interesting is the NBA, because at least they're having fun with it and throwing crazy alley-oops and seeing who can dunk on all these kind of things, whereas everything else is just it's these players are just out there trying not to get hurt, trying not to pull a muscle, and all this kind of stuff. So either get rid of the game or make it more fun. Like I've said before, it should just be a thing where they just drop the puck and let these guys go for as long as they want to go.
I mean, the NBA does have the captain's pick team, so I think that does contribute to the fun of it.
Yeah, and then it's to me, how funny would it be to realize your team at the last possible minute, and then like I was telling Sean off air, it was how funny would it be if Draisaitl and McDavid are sitting in the room and they're going, hey, who's next? Who's coming in next? And they see Tkachuk walk in. It's just they have fun with it. I'm sick of all these, or get rid of these All-Star games. Just give these guys a week off and let them go on vacation or something.
I don't think they'd have too much fun with that.
Taking the week off?
No, those particular fellas you just mentioned.
Oh, Tkachuk and Draisaitl.
But the cameras would love it though.
They used to do that format though. They had that format briefly
for a couple years where the captains it was two teams and the captains picked the teams, but again it's
maybe it's a chance for them to bridge that Tkachuk McDavid, because they did that in the NBA famously when Kevin Durant left the Thunder. He ended up on an All-Star team with Russell Westbrook, and they had a bit of a real life rivalry, and that was kind of their chance to make peace.
Yeah.
So it kind of added a whole nother level of drama to otherwise a meaningless game.
How many? I mean, we all grew up playing sports. How many times did you go into a locker room off season to play on a different team, and you turn the corner and there's the guy that you almost got into a fist fight with, or injured, or they injured you or something? To me, it happened quite a few times playing indoor soccer. You turn the corner and you're like, oh, what are you doing here? And you're like, oh, you're on my team. And then you end up being, good friends and kind of thing. So, change it up.
Yeah. I think three of us are on board with gimmicky with it, but probably not Greg. So.
I see the point. I see the appeal.
Okay. You'd still watch.
I'd
or
still
not
watch.
watch, maybe. I don't know.
No, I'd still watch.
My food for thought is, I hope I don't butcher her name, it's the slow but incredible rise of female coaches in the NFL and NBA specifically. And I want to talk about Katie Sowers, 31. I don't know, you guys familiar with her?
I saw the report.
Okay.
Is she a new Giants coach?
No, but I will mention her as well. Katie Sowers became the first openly gay and second full-time female coach in the NFL when she took a job with the 49ers as an offensive assistant coach a couple of years ago. She's being recognized this week because she's the first female coach to go to the Super Bowl, which is a really cool thing. And she has a quote that I wanted to read really quickly about inclusive workplaces. She was quoted as saying, there are so many people who identify as LGBT in the NFL, as in any business, that do not feel comfortable being public about their sexual orientation. The more we can create an environment that welcomes all types of people, no matter race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, the more we can help ease the pain and burden that many carry every day. And I thought that was such a profound quote. And it's so cool to see somebody like her. I also want to recognize Becky Hammon. If you're familiar with her, she was one of the first female coaches in the NBA.
She's still coaching, right?
She is. There's actually 11 female assistant coaches in the NBA. So a third of the teams have female coaches, which is a really fantastic thing. And I'm always an advocate for the NBA being one of the most progressive leagues in the world. And I think that's a testament to it. And then this week, in the San Francisco Giants named Alyssa Nakken as the first female coach in Major League Baseball. So seeing a lot of influx of female coaches in NFL, NBA, MLB. The point of the story is I think you hire the person best deserving of the position. It doesn't matter who they are, and that slowly breaks down the barriers. And so it's really cool to see a lot of these females in great positions in a male-dominated sports world. So
I think it's overdue.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's time overdue. Some of these women have a lot more knowledge that they can pass along, and are sometimes better at expressing themselves. I personally can't think of if I've ever had a female coach But I've had female assistant coaches, and they've helped out just as well. And I think it's good.
I admittedly don't know enough about the San Francisco locker room and haven't heard enough, but I know specifically with the San Antonio Spurs, a lot of their players have given some really good responses about working with Becky Hammon and how much they respected her and how unbelievably intelligent she was about the game of basketball. And that was really refreshing to hear these guys being so willing to, take coaching from a female head coach or female assistant coach, because I think, again, like you said, we're long past that being a thing. And so the quicker that we get past it, the better.
Yeah, in St. Louis, for the longest time, one of the best coaches for hockey has been Diana Schafering in her skating school. It's 30. It's going on 20-something years now that I've heard her name as the best one of the best in the area for learning how to skate. So, I think we're behind the times that there's only 11 in the NBA, and there's a dozen, maybe more, around all the rest of the leagues. There should be more.
Before we get into this week's break room battle, we're going to quickly go over the results from last week. So the question was, if Justin Bieber got 5 breakaway/shootout chances against Jordan Binnington, which will likely happen this summer in the offseason, will he score at least once? The overwhelming answer was 85% of people said no, he will not score. There were those 15% of crazy people out there who do think that Justin Bieber has the slimmest of chances. But we will get into this week's break room battle, which is going to be a 2-parter in lead up for the Super Bowl. So we'll have one question this week and one question next week. It's been 51 years since the Chiefs last won the Super Bowl. So our question this week is, are you actively hoping the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year? Quickly around the room, yes or no? Stuart?
Abstain.
Greg?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes, I think they will.
I'm definitely hoping that they win the Super Bowl. So be sure to weigh in. We'll have this up on Facebook, Twitter, in our own Office Essentials break room. We want to hear your feedback, so definitely hit us up before next week. Be sure to tell your friends if you like what you heard. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode, and we'll catch you again next week.